Two more host nations have entered the chat, as well as their opponents, of course, as Canada and the USA played their home openers, their tournament openers. Hello, welcome to day 2 of the World Cup Daily Recap. We'll be going over Canada versus Bosnia and Herzegovina and USA versus Paraguay. And guys, thanks to everyone who showed up for the Canada-Bosnia watch-along. That was very fun. Today is a big one, man. Brazil versus Morocco. You do not want to miss that. I was in my feelings a little bit before this one. The broadcasters were showing all of this footage of old Canada matches. They had Craig Forrest, Dwayne De Rosario, Jason DeVos, Julian de Guzman, and Atiba Hutchinson all commenting on what this means for the sport in Canada, how huge it is for Canada to be hosting a World Cup, how far we've come, blah, 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 blah. And then I was in my feelings once again with how poorly Canada started the game against Bosnia, really looking nervous out there, which I guess is understandable. It took time for them to settle, but they certainly did eventually. But it wasn't until the second half, really, that they truly settled into this game. Bosnia weren't playing incredibly deep at the start, not at the start, but the thing that we all suspected of them came true immediately. They were so dominant when it came to set pieces. I think they got a Bosnian head to each one of the free kicks. Canada don't have the biggest starting 11, especially when you don't have Promise David and Kyle Larin on the pitch. Every ball into the box felt like something could come of it. But for how poor Canada was at times in the first half, there were a couple of chances, the most prominent of which going to Jonathan David, which you'd think, oh, that's the perfect person. But unfortunately and expectedly these days, he scuffed his finish. Golden opportunity with the keeper at his mercy, and he rolled it to him. And you just knew that this would be punished. And of course, it was. Somewhat against the run of play in that stretch of the match, because Canada was looking better at that time. A corner kick was flicked on at the near post by Arsenal legend Sead Kolasinac. And the man who fought off knife-wielding attackers barehanded, if you'll remember, he flicked it on, and Jovo Lukic headed it in for 1-0. Canada just caught flat-footed, low ball in, flick on, headed past the keeper. But hey, it was his first goal ever for Bosnia, so congrats. Canada began pushing more. You had Olousei putting one over the bar, but overall the Bosnian defenders had a response to pretty much everything. Just one shot on target in the first half for Canada. Every cross was headed away, cutbacks were cut out, attempts were blocked. They were fantastic. Helped a bit by Canada being poor, of course, but Canada's difficulties in and around the box were mainly down to the excellent defending from Bosnia to that point. So in the second half, Canada came out much better. They looking to be, more on the front foot, far more. Bosnia clearly just trying to hold on for a single point. Richie Larea nearly finished off a stunning passing move, started by Ismail Kone, then Eustekio to Larea, and his strike was going in. But Kolasinac, that dude, again, just got enough of it to hit it off of the bar. So close to an own goal. No shot he could pull off that clearance or save if he was given another chance at it. It would have gone straight in. But nothing was really working for Canada in the attack, and thankfully for them, Jesse Marsch identified that right away. First of all, Jonathan David had to go. He's had a poor season in Italy, and unfortunately, when his confidence is low, he's one of those players that can barely play. 7 matches without a goal or assist now for club and country. Hate to see it. I really thought Marsch would sub Oluwaseyi out, but he surprised me by taking Jonathan David off for Promise David, the old David for David switch. I was begging for Promise David the entire game, by the way. Needed his physicality, as Jonathan David and Oluwaseyi were getting bullied by those big Bosnian big Bosnian bullies. He also brought on Schaffelberg and Ali Ahmed at the same time, and it was the move. Promise and Ali Ahmed were difference makers. Ahmed, brilliant down the right. Promise, a presence through the middle. And finally, Kyle Larin was brought on. Now, Kyle Larin has been good for Southampton of late, but for Canada, not so good. To the point where he was benched for this match. And that's Canada's second all-time top scorer. Before going off for Larin, though, you had Olousei's header getting cleared off of the line by a Bosnian defender. So 2 very close calls for Bosnia, 2 very aggravating chances that should have been goals for Canada. But it finally happened, didn't it, folks? One of Canada's top performers, Ismail Kone of Sassuolo, with another driving run, pass to promise, a flick, and Laren with one touch to settle, then a clean outside of the boot volley into the corner for 1-1. Point rescued, Canada's first ever point at the World Cup, actually, and something to build off of for Canada. Avoiding a loss was the big part. Now they can focus on converting chances, which is often Canada's problem. For Bosnia, pretty disappointing based on their play. I mean, they kind of lacked any ideas at all going forward. They truly didn't have a game plan in the attack beyond kick ball to fast guy from the back line and win a set piece. Canada plays Qatar next. Bosnia takes on Switzerland. Qatar and Switzerland play today. All right, for USA versus Italy. Oh, I'm so sorry, Dan. Not Italy. USA versus Paraguay. My bad. Take it away, Dan.
All right, Adrian, I get it, man. You are never going to let me live it down that Italy is not playing at this World Cup. I'm used to it by now. You know, it's been more than a decade since I last saw Italy play in the World Cup. But you know what? There'll always be 2006. Okay, let's get into match 2. Canada's neighbors to the south, the Americans taking on Paraguay, and the third and final host to get their World Cup journey going, got it started with an absolute bang. The Americans were up 3-0 at half. Yeah, 3-0 at the half. Who would have seen that coming? Nobody. Paraguay certainly didn't. They gave up 10 goals through 18 matches of CONMEBOL qualifiers. 10 in 18, and the U.S. somehow put 3 past them in 45 minutes. And let me tell you, the Americans were full value for it. This was not luck. This wasn't deflections all over the place. They smothered the Paraguayans, and the fellas that call it soccer earned that 3-0 lead. And I have to say, it was surprising. Mauricio Pochettino, their manager, has been under fire for pretty much everything. And yet he had this team playing better than any point under his tenure. And this was maybe the best half of football the U.S. men's national team has ever played, certainly in the World Cup. They were perfect through 45 minutes. They played with pace, they played with passion, they played connected, they had flair, they had everything. And Paraguay had no answer for it. They were completely stunned. It started with an own goal, an attack down the left, which is kind of the American signature under Mauricio Pochettino. With Anthony Robinson and Christian Pulisic down that left side, they absolutely owned it, certainly in this game. Ball comes to Weston McKennie in the area. He tries to play it across square to Fuller and Balogun, and it ends up getting deflected into Paraguay's goal by their own defender, Bobadilla. That's when the Balogun show started. The Liga star had 13 league goals this year, 5 in the Champions League, and he looked like a top striker in this one. His first goal, a cool finish off a Christian Pulisic cross into the box, and the second, a striker's goal. He holds off a defender, cuts it onto his left, and goes into the top corner with a curling shot off of his left foot. It was beautiful. He was on a special level in this game, and it gives you a lot of wonder to what his next move could be, but also how much he can carry this kind of level through the rest of the tournament, especially as tougher opponents come along. But he was definitely on a different level tonight. The only question I had was why Pochettino took him off in the second half while he was on a hat trick. So Balogun's brace made it 3-0, and from there it was kind of just a race to the end of 90 minutes. Paraguay would get 1 goal to make it 3-1, and then it was Gio Reyna who made it 4-1 with one of the greatest goals you will see at this tournament. Outside of the box, outside of the boot, curls it into the net in the 7th minute of added time. So everyone went home buzzing with a 4-1 victory. And that was a nice moment for Gio Reyna. He was not expected to be on this roster. A lot of people questioned why he was named to this roster, not just because of his poor form at Gladbach this year, but also because of the massive scandal that broke out around him at the last World Cup. In other words, this goal for him to kick off this tournament was big. The only problem coming out of this for the Americans, Christian Pulisic was subbed off at halftime with an injury. And Mauricio Pochettino said it's precautionary, some kind of a calf injury. Pulisic even spoke post-game. So maybe it is precautionary, but it's definitely something to monitor. They love to attack down the left. Pulisic is a huge part of Pochettino's game plan for every single match, as he would be as one of their star players. So his fitness is going to be something to monitor moving forward. But aside from that, this was a night where the American hopefuls can dream big. Maybe this team has more in them than we thought coming into this tournament. Could the U.S. make a deep run? Could they win the thing? I'm sure somebody's writing that today. I'll just call it impressive. Very impressive. Maybe even super impressive. I know it's going to get more difficult. They've got the Socceroos next. Australia is the easiest opponent, the team that's expected to finish bottom of this group. But then it's Turkey. And the final match of the group stage should be one that decides it at the end. All of that is a tomorrow problem. American football fans, soccer fans, they can celebrate a historic night. 4 goals, the first time they've ever done that in a World Cup. Incredible stuff from Mauricio Pochettino's side. Back to you, Adrian.
And there you have it. 2 kind of preliminary feeling days of the World Cup so far, but things really step it up today. Thanks for joining me. If you want to preview the day's matches, then check out the 90th Minute live show at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Beyond that, see you during the Brazil versus Morocco stream. Take care, guys.